Whoever thought that my backdrops would look like this, right? So there's a million things I want to talk about, but I think today I'm just going to kind of keep it simple and talk about breaking out of the cycles of the family, generational patterns. So obviously this could be a long one, but we're gonna do kind of a surface level video here. But just to share, I guess, about me a little bit, and maybe this can resonate with you. I'm really, I would say, for the most part, pretty close to my parents. They're very much involved in my life. I tell them everything for the most part that's going on. Kind of always have. And I think I was raised, I'm in nature, just be with the sounds. I think I was raised very freely, but you know, obviously with an authority still there. With that, I feel like I have I had way more trust for them because they allowed me to, you know, try things and fail, or try things and learn things the hard way. And, you know, they might give me advice and say, hey, you shouldn't do that. But, you know, I was gonna do it anyway and figure it out. So with that, I feel like they gave me a lot of grace, and they gave me a lot of time to shape my identity as a child and who I was growing up as, what I liked and what I didn't like, and people I wanted to hang out with. You know, that strictness wasn't around me. So I had and I still have so much respect for my parents. My parents' opinions matter to me. I guess I kind of just wanted to share what it's felt like becoming a woman and breaking out of that need to satisfy my parents, or to move out of their will. Kind of always keeping them in the loop. And if my mom or my dad was like, I'm unsure about that, I don't know about that one, I would definitely be like, okay, well, I don't know about it either, you know? I have to say, one of the biggest things that I did that was, I guess, you know, out of my parents' opinion and completely a solo decision of mine, was getting the van. I guess to give some background onto why I got a van. I don't know if it deserves a whole dedicated video, but I just felt really comfortable. The first idea sparked when I was spending so much time alone. Kind of just made sense to me. I was like, yo, I'm always by myself. What do I need a big apartment for? I didn't, you know, have any reason to have all that space, to have all those things, to have all these attachments. I always say it stems back to the breath and fasting. You really give everything up to receive everything, and your idea of what everything is also shifts, but that's a whole other topic. But essentially the van was, I guess, my symbol of freedom, symbol of trying something outside of my comfort zone. I'm very much a stability, you know, cautious, play-by-play kind of person, and I've only been in the van full time. I've had it since March. I've only lived in it full time for about a month now, and I've learned so much about myself, my fears, my truths, you know, my little weird habits. You learn a lot about yourself living alone in general, but living alone nomadically is a different octave. No one could have told me about until I did it. I don't think anyone will understand until you do it. But all of that to say, when the idea first sparked to do something as crazy as you live in a van and get rid of so much stuff, initially, more specifically my mom, I know you're probably watching and it's all love, I'm not coming at you, but my dad too, but I just remember my mom's opinion really laying on me heavy that she wasn't a fan, and you know, it worried her. How would that not worry you? You know, as a mother, your daughter wants to live in a van and by herself, she wants to just go places and travel, and the world's crazy right now, and it always kind of has been, but obviously right now it's just another level of uncertainty in the air already. So then for me to go do something like this is another layer of worry, and I never really wanted to worry my parents, you know, stressing them out stressed me out. I care about them so much, probably more than they even know. So if you guys are watching now, I guess you know. Really, like I said, value their opinion. So there was definitely a moment where I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't. That is scary. I don't want to do it. And started to kind of move out of that fear of my parents. Obviously, fast forward, I pushed past that fear because I think I realized that's not mine to carry. Again, going back to that learning the hard way, you know, if I have to learn the hard way, I'll learn the hard way. Thus far, it's been a beautiful journey. I can't really complain about it at all. I know I keep looking at it like it's a person, but it's really it just felt so natural. It wasn't such a shock to my system to go live in a van. I didn't want to make this whole video about living in a van, but I just kind of want to more so talk about stepping outside of those generational patterns. You're either moving out of fear or you're moving out of love. I know so many people that message me about their dietary restrictions they want to start to do, or their lifestyle changes they want to do, and their parents or family is totally anti or doesn't support that. Especially those who are trying to go vegan. I get that all the time of oh, I want to go vegan, but my mom just keeps keeps making this food. Obviously, like, a lot is easier said than done, and everybody's circumstances are different, and I can't put a blanket on everybody in this video, but I think it comes down to you. It's just you and you. If you care about their opinions and care about them, healing you heals your mother. Healing you heals your father. Healing you heals your family, heals the loved ones all around you, heals me. It all starts with you. I know that might sound selfish to past generations, and I think that's a big thing that our previous generations and our parents kind of made us feel, that like we're kind of this selfish millennial generation. And don't get me wrong, in a lot of aspects we are, but I think we just prioritize inner work a little bit more than they ever were able to. It's not that they don't or wouldn't, but that wasn't a choice. That wasn't, as accessible as it is to us now. I mean, now we have healing circles, Reiki things, sound bowl classes. There's just a lot more accessibility to community and healing, and all these modalities are a little more reachable. They're not so foo-foo and like so far gone, which I can say, like, a lot of times I think we look at the lack as far as the world and the way things are going, but I will say our generation, I feel like, is changing a lot of generational patterns. And so I think we kind of have to commend ourselves a little bit for that. We are taking the initiative to rewrite some narratives that, like, forever were just about surviving instead of thriving. Like, happiness should be a basic necessity, just like food, water, sleep, whatever else you think of as your basic necessities. Like, I don't even know if I want to use the word happiness, maybe just peace, prioritizing peace. And I'm going to say the breath, but that's where it all begins. And so anyway, whether you're trying to go vegan and your environment, feels like it doesn't allow it, or you want to buy a van and your parents are like, absolutely not, or you want to dye your hair or whatever, I just challenge you to explore it. What if it all works out? Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And if it happens, it's gonna, okay. If you interrupt that anxiety with gratitude for just the experience of figuring this out, the experience of fear, the experience of challenge, feel that gratitude for that, like that's where you grow. So be grateful for it. I've grown so much from going kind of against my parents and getting a van. Like, I could have an old me easily would have been like, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna take the safe route. But I was like, no, my heart really, really wants to do this. It's just something in this moment at 26, I have no attachments or whatever. That's what I want to do. And I can say same thing with like dietary and vegan stuff. That's a big thing that I forever am unlearning and learning, in those spaces. The kitchen is such a communal space where obviously community, we gather and we share and we laugh or whatever. And so food has this like emphasis on it. And y'all know I have a lot of opinions about food. Go watch all the breatharian videos. But there's been so many countless times where I was fasting or going vegan, and then I'd go home or get around my parents and just fall back into those habitual ways. And I just want to say, for the record, nothing is hereditary. Patterns are hereditary. Dietary patterns are hereditary. Diseases? No. It's generations of the same habitual patterns. Those are hereditary, I guess, if you want to say anything is. But the actual disease itself isn't just like this thing that you just have to accept, And I mean, I'm talking from cancer to smoking to binge eating to the extremes, to the lows, to whatever in between. You always have a choice is all I'm kind of getting at. Like, you always have a choice. Because I think in the end too, I have this fear of like when I'm going vegan and my mom makes this dinner and then I'm not eating it, I'm like, oh, she's gonna feel like, I'm neglecting her, rejecting her, disrespecting her and my ancestors. It's like looking at food and being like, oh, that's not good enough for me. I just felt this guilt for that. My mom's providing for me in this moment. I'm grateful for it, but it starts with you. If you really want to heal your mother or your father or whoever it may be, the loved one in your life, like, be the example. Like, speak up, stop the curse, stop the patterns, or maybe you don't even have to voice it, because that's hard. Just simply like being. There's so much action in non-action. So if it's a matter of just doing less, eating less, going to this place less, shopping less, whatever the thing is, gambling less, whatever it may be, just like being that. The truth doesn't need convincing. That's like probably one of my favorite things that I've ever received in my mind. The truth does not need convincing. It doesn't ever need it. It's there all the time, no matter what. There's no need to convince your mom or brother or whoever, oh, you gotta go vegan, you gotta do breath work, you gotta fast. Gratitude moment for myself for just like stepping out of a comfort zone, getting a van, going breatharian, or whatever label you want to put there. Stepping into breath work, I'd rather say. And just like making my choices with confidence and with integrity and with truth behind them, you know, not making them based off of somebody else's fear or somebody else's love even. I think there's a big difference, and this is a whole other topic in itself, but like inspiration and imitation, especially with Instagram, it's easy to start to base your decision off of what you're inspired by, but then you're just kind of imitating them, and you're not really, again, being that action, that doing. Go back into the non-action. Listen to the Tao Te Ching. I've probably said it a million times. I listened to it twice since I've been here on this campground. Power in non-action is something you'll never understand until, which is ironic to say, until you do, but until you experience it. Hope this video made a little bit of sense. I'm here on this campground. I'm getting ready to head out today. It's been a beautiful experience. Just had like a kind of a solo getaway to myself. Just kind of woke up with this on my heart. Just very, in the most like not prideful way, but proud of myself, I guess you could say, way of like this moment right now, this breath right now, everything that led me to right here, right now. I'm just very, very grateful for it. If there's any video suggestions you have, always, always, always let me know in the comments, DM me, email me, whatever it may be. Till next time, guys, thank you for watching. Bye.